The Silk Road, A Journey Through Time Part 1. The beginning in the vast expanse of human history. Few networks have shaped our world quite like the Silk Road. Picture, if you will, the year 130 BC. The Chinese Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty sits in his palace, troubled by raids from the Xiongnu nomads who terrorize his northern borders. He sends forth an envoy named Zhang Qian on what should have been a simple diplomatic mission to forge an alliance with distant peoples. Zhang Qian would not return for 13 years. When Zhang Qian finally made his way back to the Han court, he brought with him something far more valuable than the military alliance he'd failed to secure. He brought knowledge, tales of magnificent horses in Fergana, of glass and wine from distant western lands, of civilizations the Chinese had never imagined existed. Though Zhang Qian had been captured and held prisoner by the very Xiongnu he'd hoped to circumvent, his accidental exploration would open a corridor between east and west that would pulse with life for over 1,500 years. The routes Zhang Qian discovered weren't actually a single road at all, but rather a sprawling network of pathways stretching over 4,000 miles to the ancient Chinese capital of Chang'an, modern-day Xi'an, all the way to the Mediterranean shores. These interconnected routes would wind through some of the most unforgiving terrain on Earth. The scorching Taklamakan Desert, where summer temperatures could reach 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and the towering Pamir Mountains, whose peaks kiss the sky at over 24,000 feet. The name Silk Road itself wouldn't be coined until 1877, when German geographer Ferdinand von Richthofen used the term Seidenstrasse in his writings. For the merchants and travelers who actually walked these paths, it was simply the way to fortune, the way to exotic goods, the way to connect the known world. But silk was indeed the golden thread that ran to the heart of this trade. Chinese sericulture, the art of silk production, was such a closely guarded secret that smuggling silkworm eggs out of China was punishable by death. The Chinese monopoly on silk production would last for nearly 3,000 years. By the 1st century CE, Roman citizens were paying astronomical prices for Chinese silk, quite literally worth its weight in gold. Roman senators were so concerned about the drain of gold to the east for silk that they attempted to ban men from wearing silk togas, arguing it was both too expensive and too effeminate. The Roman writer Pliny the Elder complained that silk was costing the Roman Empire approximately 100 million sesterces annually. Yet the demand never waned. Roman women of status considered silk an essential luxury, and the fabric became a symbol of wealth and power across the empire. The journey of a single piece of silk from China to Rome could take years and pass through dozens of middlemen. No single merchant traveled the entire length of the Silk Road. Instead, goods changed hands in great trading cities that sprang up like oases along the route. These cities, Samarkand, Bokhara, Kashgar, Merv, became cosmopolitan centers where Chinese, Persian, Indian, and Central Asian cultures blended in remarkable ways. In these marketplace cities, languages mingled as freely as the goods. Sogdian, the language of Central Asian merchants, became the lingua franca of Silk Road trade, even though the Sogdians themselves never established a major empire. These master merchants built networks that stretched across Asia, establishing trading colonies from China to the Byzantine Empire. Their letters, discovered in an abandoned watchtower along China's ancient frontier, reveal a sophisticated merchant class fluent in multiple languages, comfortable in foreign lands, and remarkably modern in their business practices. The trade routes carried far more than silk and gold. Buddhism traveled from India to China along these very roads, fundamentally transforming Chinese culture starting in the 1st century CE. Monks and pilgrims carried sacred texts, translating them in the cities they passed through, creating new interpretations and traditions that would ripple across East Asia. The magnificent cave temples at Dunhuang, carved between the 4th and 14th centuries, stand as monuments to this spiritual exchange. Nearly 500 caves filled with Buddhist art that shows the fusion of Indian, Chinese, and Central Asian styles. As caravans moved through the desert night under canopies of stars, as merchants haggled in a dozen languages in crowded bazaars, as ideas and religions and technologies flowed like water across mountain and desert, the Silk Road was weaving together the ancient world in ways that would echo through the centuries to come.